All right. Well, when Thomas invited me, he asked me to do a short talk on Neo and how it fits into cloud and infrastructure and that kind of stuff. So this is kind of ad hoc. Let's keep it informal, right? Questions in the end. I'm David. I work for Neo4j. Show of hands, how many have heard of Neo before? All right, quite a few people. All right. Well, I've been with Neo for about 6 years now. I worked 3 years in the US, and now I work in the Nordics with our customers in the Nordics, but we're global as an organization. So today, how many read the abstract for my talk? Or remember, this is the abstract anyway, in case you haven't seen it. And I figured we'd use that as the agenda as well. So let's start by looking at how a graph database like Neo can help. Right? Let's take a structure like this, pretty standard, right? You have a hierarchy, people report to each other. Looks pretty easy, right? Turns out modeling and querying this in a relational database is incredibly hard, to the point where actual books have been written just how to handle a hierarchy in SQL, right? Okay, now add on things like dotted lines and all kinds of other facets, right? How do you model this and, more importantly, make sense of that data and query it in real time? That's where Neo comes in. Neo is a graph database, so it's a database just like MySQL or whatever, but we don't have any tables underneath. It's all nodes that are connected by relationships like this. So this is our developer interface. Super cool product. Show you some visualizations. This is the Eurovision 12 votes from last year. Pretty cool. You can see the different loyalties here with the different countries. This is just a sample supply chain from parts all the way over to customers. This is a backhaul network, microwave links, that kind of stuff for a telecom network in a European city. The product hierarchy for a major retailer. Graphs can be anything, right? So, and of course, these are some of the customers we work with. Some of the biggest companies in the world use Neo to do cool stuff that they cannot do otherwise in an efficient way. So, modern infrastructure and the complexities. I've put together a small cartoon for you that I hope encapsulates what it's like to learn about modern infrastructure today. It's not as easy as you would think, right? And there are a lot of things we need to kind of care about today as developers, as architects, right? Our apps today, they need to be, well, 12-factor, right? They need to be scalable, stateless, configuration-driven, disposable, continuously deployed, all these things. And it's not always easy. It's the second container picture. You had one container picture as well. But I don't know if you get this pun, but I thought it was funny. So there are tools that do this already, right? Lots of different tools, and they all do similar things in slightly different ways, and they all overlap like a Venn diagram flower, right? And you always end up tweaking them and figuring out, what should I use now? Okay, we've used etcd for 2 weeks. Should we switch to this thing now? Because this thing does this also. But etcd also does this. Okay, well, there are some benefits to rolling your own solution. And let's recall this this scenario that occurred a few years back with Knight Capital Group, where a deployment engineer forgot to deploy some code, an update to the 8th server in their cluster. And that ended up basically doing some high-frequency trading in a not-so-good way, such that they lost about $10 million every minute for 45 minutes. Not so good. So you want to keep track of your environment. Lending Club is one of the world's largest kind of peer-to-peer lending companies, and they use Neo for this, right? So they have, I screen capped their slides, right? So they have the app instances and various services that come up. They all phone home to a service that's called MacGyver. I didn't name it, so don't shoot the messenger. And it stores all this in Neo, and it's pretty cool, right? Why would you store it in Neo? Is it really a graph? Well, it turns out it is, right? Because you have virtual services up here that contain pools that contain virtual servers that map to app instances, that run on compute instances, that use data stores, down to storage volumes, right? Turns out it is a graph. And if they want to find out, for example, if storage volume 3 goes down, what services are impacted? Basically, from here up to here. That query looks like this in Neo, right? In SQL, that would be many, many rows, and the schema would be unmaintainable, right? It basically wouldn't work in SQL. And it wouldn't work in any other kind of database either. You'd do it in memory otherwise. But Neo actually does this as a database. And in the end, these are some of the benefits that they saw. But I think the really most important part is the ad hoc query capability, right? So the root cause analysis question, that's one thing, but they could do all kinds of other things like capacity analysis, other things. So it's never been easier to get started looking at your data in a different way. This is a quote from eBay. They use Neo. And I think when you combine the fact that you can build something that's about 1,000 times faster in kind of real-time, runtime performance with orders of magnitude less code, then that kind of translates to, in your budget box, time box, you can actually deliver some stuff you couldn't deliver before. So how do you get started? Well, first, you go ahead and download Neo. Second, you go to a developer guide if you're a developer. You go here to learn about how to query the database, get it started. And then if you want, you can Slack us. We have our own Slack account. So you can join us and talk to us there. And I actually added a fourth step here. If you're looking at any kind of commercial project, do talk to us. I mean, we are the experts. It's the only sane thing to do, right? You wouldn't go and perform surgery on yourself, right? You know, you would consult with an experienced surgeon who's done this before. It's the same with graph databases. Talk to somebody who's done it before, right? All right, so thanks very much, and do get in touch. Please, everyone, tweet, #Neo4j. Very much appreciated. Thank you.